You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's Sunny Mount Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Beasts of the Thorns. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up and let's go. Reducing our clothing also improves our acuity. When hunting, we are able to feel subtle air currents, light, and humidity changes through the fur on our bodies, and we have to use all of our senses to gain an advantage. No wonder all members of the 8th Squad who returned from the hunt at the party yesterday were shirtless and wearing shorts. I glanced at the thorns of the blackberries nearby and involuntarily shrank my neck. I couldn't imagine the plight of rolling around in blackberry bushes wearing shorts. My apprehension seemed to affect Amor and Chris as well. They gazed gloomily at the thorny plants. Although their fur provided more resistance to the prickles than my smooth skin, the pads of their noses were no different from mine. Nobody enjoys thorns. At last we passed through the thicket and arrived at a clearing in the woods. The midday sun poured down, causing the entire grassland to shimmer with emerald green light, inviting one to run and roll around in it. Though I immediately dismissed the thought, the grassland was adorned with purple flowers, interspersed with malicious thistles. Ostrom cautiously navigated around these thorny plants, leading us to the center of the grassland, where there was a small pond. Finally, there were no more menacing thorny plants around the pond, only a swath of soft lavender surrounding its edges. A few small birds bathed and frolicked in the pond. I didn't think that the Forest of Thorns had such a place. I knelt down and rubbed the bee balm leaves, and the rich scent spread. It seemed that this was our destination. Ostrom took the mats out of the picnic basket and spread them out for the four of us to sit on, and we rushed to help spread the picnic mats. The picnic mats are oversized, so we can all lie down side by side with no problem. After settling down the mats, Ostrom, as if performing magic, took out the crispy baguettes, sliced tomatoes and zucchinis, cured ham, pickled olives, and several types of cheese from the picnic basket, along with a bottle of red wine and 3 glasses. The picnic basket seemed to have a larger capacity than it appeared. He skillfully sliced the baguettes with a small knife, stacked them with the rich ingredients to make sandwiches, topped them with a poached egg, and sprinkled with sea salt, handing them to Amor and Chris. As for me, I received a cup of tea with a color reminiscent of a starry sky, emitting the fragrance of violets after sprinkling salt on it. Sprinkling salt on violets? Okay. I sniffed it, feeling a lazy comfort as if just waking up from a good dream. Ostrom himself made a carnivorous version of the sandwich, using 2 thick slices of ham sandwiching vegetables and cheese, showcasing his love for meat. I envy how delicious everything looks. Although my alchemical tea smells wonderful and even induces a feeling of fullness after smelling it, paradoxically, it leaves me feeling empty, a kind of psychological emptiness in my stomach. I couldn't help but gaze sadly as everyone enjoyed the sandwiches. At this moment, Ostrom poured everyone some red wine, the glasses emanating the sour fragrance of grapes. Amor swirled the glass, took a sip, and exclaimed exaggeratedly, which made me even more envious. Chris, as wild as ever in his eating habits, didn't really understand the nuances of food and wine quality. For him, if it tasted good, it was good. Second, y'all. He quickly devoured the sandwiches, then eagerly watched Ostrom, who was munching on bacon. Ostrom chuckled and cut him another piece of meat. "I'll lie down for 10 minutes. I haven't slept a wink in weeks," said Ostrom, resting his hand on the back of his head, and lay down comfortably. Oh, that's a good picture. I also lay down, and then I felt a weight on my stomach, realizing that Amor was resting their head on it. Then a fuzzy sensation appeared on my chest as Chris also leaned his head against me. After I gently scratched Chris's forehead, short fur, I immediately felt Amor nudging my other hand with their nose, so I softly stroked Amor's nose bridge, short fur. A peaceful and serene moment. It was as if suddenly the boundaries of our bodies disappeared, and our inner essence floated in this greenery. We felt each other's presence, so familiar and natural, as if we had been accompanying each other since birth. Our consciousness intertwined, though no thoughts were exchanged, but at this moment our minds were pure and harmonious, even our breathing synchronized. However, after some time passed, just when I thought this moment would last forever, I felt loneliness, emptiness, and solitude. The feeling of loss was unbearable, causing my consciousness to rise from the ocean of thoughts, gradually returning to reality. "Did you sleep well?" Ostrom looked at me with a smile, and Amor and Chris had already woken up and were cleaning up Ostrom's dishes. I could feel the inside of my helmet was moist, as if I had just cried, but I didn't have eyes to cry with. "How long have I been asleep?" "About 10 minutes, but you look like you're having a nightmare." "I'm okay. No, actually, I don't know, but I feel good." I suddenly changed my mind, not sure why I didn't want to pretend anymore. Ostrom smiled faintly and gave me a gentle hug. Amor saw what was happening and quickly came over, pulling me away from Ostrom's embrace, pressing his lips against my forehead and giving me a tight hug. Chris joined us and took Amor in his arms with me. Chris's grin grew even wider as he pulled me over and encircled all three of us in his arms. What are we doing now? Some sort of a spiritual development activity? I don't know, but it felt good, didn't it? Whatever trouble it is, be gentle. I'm about to squeeze off Hess's helmet. Ostrom let go of his hands and looked at the three of us with a lonely look on his face. I was a little embarrassed by the look and broke away from my friend's embrace. But there was a deep satisfaction in my body, as if some tear had been temporarily wiped away, some wound temporarily covered. Ostrom suddenly raised his finger and signaled for us to be quiet. Next, he twitches his ears and reaches into the air to grab something. Then he extends his fist towards us and opens part of his finger so we can see the contents. A little emerald green bird was fluttering in his hand, unable to break free from the wolf's strong fingers. What kind of hunting ability is this? I inhaled incredulously as it turned out that he had grabbed a small bird that just happened to be flying low in the air as naturally and easily as if he had taken a dish from a cupboard. You know? The birds around us saw their companion being captured and still flew around us without warning. This is our prey, the spiny bird. I will now tell you the secret of the hunt. The spiny bird prefers sunlight and water, but over time it develops different habits. Many of us in the Brotherhood are good trackers and hunters, but we are not good observers, so we often come away empty-handed. The most common blind spot is that the spiny bird is not a living creature. However, demons pride themselves on their senses, believing that what they hear, see, and smell is true. As a result, even when the brain realizes that the spiny bird is not a living thing, the body hunts with the same tactics it would use against a living thing. The tower in the forest is called the Tower of 1,000 Mirrors. It is an artifact built by Professor Nicholas, the dragon of philosophical alchemy. As the name suggests, there are countless mirrors inside the tower, focusing sunlight to heat the real mercury in the center of the town, from which the spiny birds are born. Therefore, no spiny birds are born from lack of sunlight. And after birth, spiny birds do not eat, do not sleep, do not mate, do not perform all the normal life activities of living creatures. Their only goal is simply to find a perfect thorn and end their lives by crashing their chests into it. That's horrifying. The three of us exchanged glances, puzzled by the eerie phenomenon. Legend has it that if they die by hitting the only perfect spike in their life, they will sing a song of absolute beauty before they die, and then transform into a crimson and gold-colored substance. It is called the Second Stone. It is said that the song moves even the gods, but I have never heard it so far. Oh, God. Ostrom took his pocket knife and cut off the head of the spiny bird, only to see clear liquid oozing out of the section of the neck that looked like a cross-section of some kind of fruit. The spiny bird really isn't an animal, it's more like a plant. But the fact that the spiny bird still fluttered its wings after his head was cut off made me feel bad. I can understand why the demons have a blind spot for the spiny bird, and even though I saw that the inside of the spiny bird looked like a fruit, I still had a hard time with the way it was struggling. Then the prickly bird quickly withers, loses its water, and takes on the appearance of a dry plant. When a prickly bird is not hunted in a specific way, it will wither like this and turn into a worthless mass, which is considered a hunting failure. Although I don't know the cause, it seems that the birds can only be harvested by killing them with a sharp object through the chest cavity, but all other methods will result in this. Ostrom rubbed his fingers over the remnants of the spiny bird and clapped his hands to dismiss the bird's dust. However, not just any sharp object can be used for harvesting. We currently know of 3 things that can keep thorn birds fresh: thorns, claws, and teeth. All 3 must be alive. In other words, if harvested with pulled thorns, teeth, or claws, thorn birds will still wither. So you can't just use some claw or some tooth or something that you just find. It has to be, like, your claw or your teeth. Okay. Our fraternity's advertisement for admissions asking you to give your claws and teeth is not a slogan. We really need your... Wait, so they... Okay, I'm kind of, Alright, so that doesn't make any sense at all. We really need your claws and teeth. Therefore, Hess, without claws as well as teeth, can only hold the position of ranger, where the hunter does the bird hunting. That is not to say that the ranger is unable to harvest prickly birds. Near dusk, all the prickly birds in the forest look for a thorn and a plant to crash into, so the rangers can retrieve prickly birds in serviceable condition, and if they are of good enough quality, they can be counted as part of the hunt as soon as night falls. However, the spiny birds, whether still alive or dead, wither away, and if they are not preserved in time, the results of the whole day's hunt will turn to dust. The Tower of 1,000 Mirrors requires preheating time, so there are no birds if you come too early. The highest concentration is usually afternoon, where the sunlight is strongest. But during this time, the birds are most certainly wandering around. Only a few can be seen near the water in sunny spots. Towards dusk, they become eager to find thorns and begin to appear in large numbers near spiky plants. Do not consider any bait or trap strategy. Each bird has different preferences for thorns. Using a net for hunting will cause the bird to struggle excessively and wither. The only viable hunting method is to catch them barehanded and immediately pierce their chests with teeth or claws. By swiftly and accurately killing the thorn birds, you can harvest the best quality. Ostrom quickly grabbed another spiny bird in the air and immediately put it in his mouth and bit it to death with his canine teeth. The bird uttered a short, pitiful cry and then ceased to struggle, and when Ostrom put the spiny bird in his hand to show it, the bird's color changed to a beautiful huddy color and remained motionless on the wolf's toe pads as if it were asleep. This is the best quality prickly bird. Amor and Chris were staring at the stinger in annoyance. Despite their good movement, the stinger was really too fast and too small to get a shot off. I looked at the bird in Ostrom's hand. I was sad, though. I was sad to kill the bird, even though I knew in my head that the bird was not alive. It was too alive. It was as if it were a grieving creature preyed upon by our greed. Ostrom observed my emotions and gave me a puzzled look, but he smiled politely nonetheless. A gust of wind blew by, carrying away the thorn birds beside us. Rain clouds were approaching with the wind. Looks like it's going to rain. Rain is the worst thing to fear on a hunting trip. The lack of sunlight will cause the spiny birds to cut down on their production and self-destruct early. Let's get out of here or we'll be caught in the rain. With that, he handed me the spiny bird and gestured for me to take it. Then he led us away from the other end. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!